Hi everyone, welcome back to the Zicast. I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by visual artist Zuzanna Tarnacki.
Yay!
Great to have you here, Z. I'm really excited to learn more about you and your experiences, so how about you kick things off by telling us about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Zuzanna, but many people know me as Z, because it's Zuzanna with a Z. That's an important thing to mention. And I'm from Queens, New York. I grew up there. I've been there my entire life. Yeah, I'm a 3+1. I'm in my grad year. I graduated last year with my bachelor's in film, television, and media arts with a minor in studio art design. So that's where the visual art comes from. I'm currently getting my master's in producing for film and television, but that's not really what I want to go into anyway. It's just part of the program. And might as well just get my master's while I'm here. Do you want me to get into how I got into film?
Yeah, what inspired you to pursue film?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a crazy story. Not too crazy, but it's a bit all over the place for sure. So my senior year of high school, I was very lost. Like the first semester, or I guess it's the first quarter. First quarter, we were already looking into what schools we're going to, what majors. I did not want to go to college at all. No, I wanted a gap year or just not go at all, find my own way around. But my parents in the end did convince me to do it. Initially, I was looking to interior design or just plain art or something. I do like buildings. I like decorating things. It's fun. Just visually aesthetic things. I was not the best at math, but it was fun for me. I hated science, so definitely nothing that involved science at all. One of my classes, senior year, it was actually called Hitchcock Studies. Shout out to Mr. Casio, my goat. That was my first film class ever. I never watched movies before then, just for fun sometimes, but it wasn't my biggest passion. So because of that, the first class that we had, he put up a presentation and it listed everyone that it takes to make a film. And I was like, this is awesome. There's so many job opportunities there. And maybe I could be one of those people. But I didn't really think about that until we were starting to decide on who we're applying to for school. I still didn't think about that though. I was looking at other schools for interior design and architecture, and it just nothing felt right for me until coming back from University of New Haven. I was looking on Google, I'm like, Quinnipiac, that's a really weird name. And then I looked into it and they're like, film and television. That's one of the majors that is accessible to me. And I'm like, wow. I set up an appointment to go check out the school literally the next day. So I came back from New Haven, then we had to drive another 2 hours back. And as soon as I stepped foot, I'm like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And then they told me about the 3+1 program. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This is what I'm going to do. And I also have a background in production in the first place. I was the talent growing up. I was in front of a camera. So it was something I'm very used to, growing up on sets. So I'm like, this kind of just fits into what I know already. And I did want to stay in that industry. So that's what I wanted to do.
Fittingly for film, a very unconventional journey and a very non-linear journey too. And I'm curious, you mentioned being talent. What was that experience like growing up?
It was interesting. I started as a child model when I was 6. And at first I hated not being at school, not talking to friends, and just being kind of taken away from that environment that I was growing up in. It's such an important time in a life for a kid to get social interactions with other kids and live that life. I was I hated it. For the first 2 years I hated it, but there was something about it where my mom just kept bringing me there, and I'm like, okay, you know what, sure. It's not like she was forcing me or anything, I decided to do it. And then it started getting fun, seeing all the new people, meeting different people, seeing the same models that I modeled with, and those becoming my friends. It became such a tight-knit community for me. That became my sort of sanctuary instead of school. And yeah, the preconceived thoughts of how a model is, my friends at school kind of turned me away at some point. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. But I kept going through that and it was fine. But yeah, that entire thing for 10 years, I did modeling, and it was a lot, and there were some hardships, but there were some amazing times that I had. Once I was flown out to California for like 2 weeks for Abercrombie and Fitch, and that's one of the fondest jobs I've had. And I still keep in contact with some people that I've worked with before. So it's these kind of opportunities that I grew up with that I'm like, this has shaped me who I am today and what I'm aiming to do for my future, but now like behind the camera.
Very unique experience, and of course, I feel like it probably taught you firsthand too about like landing gigs and how important that is, and how kind of jumping from one thing to the other.
There was a lot of failure that I had to overcome as like an 8-year-old. I really wanted this job, and then they were like, no, we found someone else. So growing up, understanding that I'm not gonna get everything, like this is life.
Yeah, because I'm sure auditions and things for like that. And what kind of things did you model for? You mentioned Abercrombie.
Yeah, I did Abercrombie and Fitch Kids. I did Gap Kids. I did a commercial for them. I've also been on some Scholastic book covers. I've been on a Vogue Bambini cover, which is one of like it's Vogue, but for kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there a lot. I think there was once like Target. So if you've ever been to a store like 15 years ago, you might have seen me not knowing it's me like on a poster, and it's so cool to think about. Like that was me before.
Did you ever see anything of yourself out?
Yeah, yeah. I actually have a closet at home that has like posters, because my mom would take me to the store and be like, "This is my daughter up there. Like when you guys take everything down, just give us a call and we'll come up and pick up the poster." Awesome. So it's fun looking back on those now.
And you mentioned too being familiar with film sets because of that. How do they differ, the like modeling shoot you did versus sets you've been on?
Well, they're not too different, except for film sets, they're much bigger, I feel. For modeling sets and just like photo sets, you have a backdrop and then like 2 lights and then your photographer. And it's just like they're moving back and forth, and you have to be constantly moving, basically like a film. But you have to be thinking about every single thing you're doing. Like if they're in your mind, you have to be like, okay, they're about to take a picture, I can't blink. That's the hardest part, especially with the flashes. You're like, I can't blink. And that's one thing I realize is the difference between film and photo. It's just like, if you make a mistake, there's so many more options. But for film, it's just, you get like 3 or 4 takes sometimes. Like if a director wants like 100, you can get 100. It's like one and done, and it's kind of more emotion to a film. I'm
sure, like, I know like with models, like striking different poses and things like that, but you just kind of have that backdrop, almost like you're taking a headshot, so to speak. Where a film, it's like all these different moving parts. And you mentioned too, kind of in school and like having a different childhood. Was it sort of isolating being a model, would you say? Can you describe that?
Yeah, it was definitely isolating at times. Like I said, my friends that I had before, they kind of like made their own friend group because I was gone so many times that I've been separated from them at this point. Like I lost on a lot of memories that they had together that I had the opportunity to go to because I was at a job. But other than that, I had other friends at these jobs that I would make my own memories with. But no, definitely isolating, but in a way, it was in like a positive way. It's kind of confusing, like it sounds like it's bad, but it was pretty good to me.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's kind of bodes you well as you grow up, because naturally, let's just use, for example, you go to college, you make college friends, and you have your friends from high school. So it's kind of like you had that, but just at a younger age. And, and I think you probably also taught you that, you know, some of the friends you have now won't be friends you have later. And then sometimes I'm sure like you had coworkers as a model, which is something that you probably learned as you grow up too.
With this job, it's like you have to be mature at like a younger age, especially at this kind of thing. You do learn a lot of like adult life and adult drama, and it's just, it does accelerate your growing up, I would say, but you still find ways to live a childhood, and I still live my childhood now, so.
Yeah, very much so. And of course, like, yeah, kind of teaching, you naturally see a lot of child stars and the ways, but I feel like it's like having a good support system and things like that get you through that. And that kind of all led you to where you are now at Quinnipiac. Can you tell us some of the experiences you've had in filmmaking so far?
Freshman year, it was kind of like I stepped back. It was all those introductory classes to film where you would just watch films and talk about them. And then into the second year and the third year, it got a little more serious where I'm like, what do I want to do in film? Like, I want to be there, but for what? Like, I don't want to be one of the big guys, like director or like producer or anything mathematical. Like, so I'm just like, what do I want to do? And my capstone group, Out of Focus, they brought me in and were like, do you want to be editor? I'm like, this is fun. I would love to edit. That was one of my first experiences being on a film set, like getting that start to finish and just seeing the process of a film being built from the beginning to the end. Because usually you just see a film and you're like, oh, okay, cool. But you don't really see what it takes to bring it to where you're seeing it. Especially post-production, for me, it's like, wow, this is all the time it takes to, like, it was a 15-minute short film, and it took me like a month to edit it. How long does it take to make a feature film? And it made me appreciate films and all the people that are in the credits at the end. Like, wow, these all come together and work together to make this thing. But yeah, my capstone was probably the best opportunity and the best thing that has come out of school for me. I have the most fondest memory living in that Airbnb with everyone, and then sitting at the end of the day after shooting and watching back at all the clips we took and just already mapping out, like, how are we going to move on from this? What are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? Are we going to do anything else besides this? What else do we need to get? It's a lot of conversations and a lot of learning from each other.
Yeah, I don't know if something's been talked about on the show more than Out of Focus. Out of Focus short film.
Out of Focus was a banger.
So yeah, a lot of longtime listeners will know a lot about it. But take us into your experience with that more as an editor. I know it was something that was new for you, so I'm sure a challenge, especially since these capstone films need to be edited before a deadline for it to be presented in front of a big audience, a lot of professors, friends, family. What was that whole experience like for you?
The main lesson I learned is that the editor shouldn't be on set. That's been mentioned to me very often. It's because when you're on set, you're already looking at like things that you're gonna edit, and then you're like, oh, I'm not gonna use this. Oh, I don't like this shot. So being the editor on Out of Focus, I had to teach myself to like step back and out of the set. But also, I'm gonna be honest, editing for Out of Focus, I learned that I don't want to be an editor. It was fun. It was awesome. But I don't want to subject myself to being behind a computer all my life. And kudos to people that do want to do that. It's an awesome job, but I want to be on set. And that was another thing I learned through Out of Focus, is that like watching people make the film is going to be like what I want to do.
Sometimes the things you don't want to do teach you the things you do want to do. So let's just say, I want to try editing. You don't like editing, then you know you don't want to do it moving forwards. But I'm curious, when you say that you don't think an editor should be on set, naturally it's probably just a preference thing. Because you would think that an editor being on set helps because they can see what they're going to edit. Why do you think it didn't work for you and your style?
See, they're not supposed to, because they're not supposed to already see what is being shot. It's kind of like you have a fresh mind once you get the SD card, you see all the things. So you're not logging in the back of your mind what you're going to use and what you're not going to use. Because you need that fresh visual of, okay, this worked that they did, this didn't work, but that should happen later on. Because it makes the editing process a little more authentic. Because you're already building the edit in your head if you're on set. And it's just, it could overload or also just ruin the film a little bit. Because then you're not working around like, oh, you're looking at one clip, like shot 2, take whatever, 3. That shot, like a specific part of it, could look fantastic and sound fantastic. But you already know, because you're on set, that actually take 5 was the perfect one, and it was perfect throughout the entire thing. but take 3 had this like one bit that could be squeezed into it that works perfectly. You could already lose that sense of, hey, maybe I should edit it this way instead of this way.
So it's kind of like cheating the process in a way to do that, because you go in with a preconceived notion rather than being open to whatever the shots suggest. Naturally, there's script supervisors and people like that help the editor, but a lot of it's up to the editor's discretion. Okay, so thank you so much for explaining that. Well, can you take us more into the experience of filming that for yourself? A lot of others have told us about living in the house for the week leading up, and then how good the set environment was. What was your experience like with that?
I was the only girl in the group, and I felt so welcomed by everyone, especially since I didn't really know them the year prior. We only began hanging out all together when we started our capstone process. Our professor, Ash Brandon, she recommended that we do like a group activity to understand how everyone works as a group. So our best decision was to do an escape room, and that was hilarious. That was so fun, and we won. We did win. It really built our confidence in making a film in the future, and we're actually gonna be working together, most of us, once again on our master's capstone. I don't know if it's called a capstone, but like our last project, we decided to work together because we knew that we know that going into it, we already have this idea of how everyone works. And we were also able to problem solve without any like arguments or just problems starting. There were a few issues that came up, but we were able to work through it. It was so easy to talk to everyone. No one was shutting themselves out like you hear on some films. And that's the one thing that I would recommend to do, is just be open when working with other people. Don't let yourself like shut yourself in because you think you know what's going on. Or if a problem comes up, don't be like it's all done. Like like there's no way of fixing it, because there's a way to fix it. There's a way to find you could find a different way around it if something happens. Like Sean's car, his tire popped one of the days. It wasn't a big problem, but like how is he gonna pick up the actors now, and how is he gonna do this? And we could all see that he was going through it a little bit, and we all like pitched in, we all came in together, helped him out. It's just working as a team that's the most important. And that's the best thing I learned during the capstone process as well. It's just speak to people, find out who they are, and then work with them, you know?
I'm going to sound like a broken record for those who've listened, but I always say that film's the ultimate team sport, the ultimate collaborative affair, and being with it takes a team to create something like that. Like you said earlier, when you saw the credits of how many different people work on a film, it takes each person to make a film work. And even drawing on what you said, the worst person for their car to not work is the producer, who has to leave to get out, to get actors, because everybody else is stationed on set. And then kind of now seeing the film be presented, trying to send it off to festivals and everything. How does that feel, like with that experience kind of being done now, and now being able to put the kind of finishing touches on it?
It definitely feels a bit bittersweet. I'm currently waiting on the color grade to come back to me, and then I'm gonna match everything together once again, and we'll be done. And it's just gonna go onto the festival run, and I'm just like, it's over. Like this amazing experience throughout my college life, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be done.
And thankfully with films, they have the ability to live forever in that way, because you could always go and watch it and always kind of time capsule that experience. And something else I'm curious about, like mentioning you as a visual artist, you talk about that background in design. How do you think that impacts your filmmaking work now?
Well, editing. I'm very attention to detail, so I kind of got caught up in continuity and like making sure, like, if she looks to the right, that you see that she's looking to the right again in like the next thing. But honestly, that doesn't matter. And as I kept editing, I started realizing that it's more about like the beats and the visual aesthetic of how it looks instead of it being realistic. I also think that my past in art and stuff, it helped me create these things because I have that eye that like, that doesn't completely look right. Like these colors don't work together. This is supposed to be cut here instead of here, because then you see like a little piece that just your eye immediately goes to it, and it's not visually pleasing because like why is there like you see a little corner and your eye immediately goes to it? It doesn't work. Having to find a way to go around that and understanding what your eyes look for in a film, it has really helped with editing.
And it's great what you say about continuity, because I feel like that's something general audiences don't really see. And you see a lot of times big time films having continuity errors in their editing, but really it's just the emotion that's coming from the images. That's kind of what matters ultimately. And even design, like kind of what you said, is that a lot of times with film, it's manipulating where your eyes go. And I feel like that's a big part of filmmaking too, that translates into art like that. But naturally, a lot that builds into your art are a lot of the travels you've had. And you and I were able to attend the Cannes Film Festival together last May, or May of 2025. Can you tell us about that experience?
The Cannes Festival, it was very fun. I love traveling in the first place, and this is the first time I've ever actually been to a film festival. Yeah, so going there, you see all these people from all around the world that come together into this one area, and you get to understand their perspective of film. It's awesome. Like I was talking to the woman that I was interning for, and she was giving me all these tips in her life, how she grew up into film and how she got to where she is. And I'm like, so you have a completely different experience than this person, and this person has a completely different experience from this person. Everyone has their own story.
You said the thing.
Yeah, I said the thing. It's just being there, it's very eye-opening, especially since it's such a community, and this event has been going on for years. Like, are we 83rd year, 84th? I actually don't know. I don't know. I think it's somewhere in like the 80s. It's just many perspectives to learn from. And international film is very important for film history and understanding film in general, and like not just American films, but going and seeing films in different languages, because sometimes even without captions, you can understand the story without reading or hearing it. And that's important to understand and expand your knowledge on, like what is important about this film. And it's not just because I understand what they're saying, but more about what they're showing me.
I love what you said about how different people have different paths in film. There's never really one journey, kind of like we talked about earlier, with like the unconventionalness of everything. Two people could be in the same place, but they could come from totally different areas and have totally different backgrounds. And of course, what you said about foreign cinema as well, is that a lot of times it's what you're feeling from the images. Like I said earlier, that's what really matters in the end, where a lot of times, just is a beautiful piece of art, it resonates across different languages. And even just being there in France, what was that like?
It was my first time in France. And honestly, the people were pretty nice. Like if you walked in, you're like, bonjour, they're like, they speak back. Because I had this preconceived notion that like, oh, the French are mean. But Cannes is also a international city. Like there's so many tourists that come in and so many film people. So it was a bit eye-opening, because I kind of avoided going to France, because like I don't want to. I took French classes, but I don't want to be like laughed at by the French. But it was very nice, and I loved the streets. It was very warm. I was expecting it to rain, because people always say it rains during Cannes or something. But we luckily had like the perfect days. I didn't get to go to any of the black attire showings, because you went to the one that I wanted to go to.
Exit 8. The Exit 8 premiere.
Yeah, the Exit 8 one. I remember I had a ticket, but then I'm like, oh, I can't because it was so late in the day and it was also horror. But like, I wish I did because it was, what was it, a Korean film, right?
Yes, yeah, based on the video game, I believe.
Yes, but yeah, it was like, I wish I saw more international films at Cannes because I only went to go see like the Mission Impossible one that was coming out.
Yeah.
And I saw one French movie, which I'm glad I did because I actually love that one as well. I was more drawn to the American movies because I'm like, in the back of my head, oh, I could understand it. And they would have subtitles, of course, but at the same time, I don't want to read sometimes. But I absolutely wish I saw more foreign films, and I wish I had more time there to just explore and talk to more people. But other than that, the experience at Cannes was awesome. And then after Cannes, I like decided to stay in Europe and go visit family and go all the way around, like to some countries I still haven't been to. So I went to a total of like 8 countries that year, and it was like, okay, sure, might as well.
How do those experiences compare?
It was also very eye-opening.
Yeah.
I'm very big on traveling and just understanding different cultures. I love trying new foods and everything, and this, tying it back to film and life in general, it expands your knowledge of the world itself. And I feel my brain growing every time I travel to somewhere new because I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I know more about you because I'm here. It's not like I'm only watching it over a screen or something. But yeah, I went with Nick. We road tripped around Poland. We started off at my family's. Like my family's area where they live, and then just seeing more about my own self in Poland itself. Like I start understanding more about my past and what I could do in my future, and like traveling makes you understand more about yourself in general. And I think that's the best part about it, is you don't really know what you're gonna get into once you're there.
Any specific experiences from those places that were really formative? Most
of it was just teaching Nick about all these things, because this was his first time in Europe, and or not his first time, but his second time, but the first time he went to Portugal and Spain. And so I don't know anything about those, but bring him to an area that I know most, and finding out that I already know all of this, and I know more than I thought I did. There was one formative experience I definitely remember. We went to Krakow. Yeah, so I've been to Krakow 3 times now in my life, and every single time it hasn't really worked out the best, so I think Krakow has some kind of vendetta against me. The first time I was like sick, I had a fever, and I was with my dad, and we went to this like super shady hotel that had like 4 beds in like a 2-bedroom room. And then the second time I went with my class for my Holocaust in film class, and that was much better. I got to see more of Krakow in a nicer light, and understanding more of its past because of this class. So there was not much bad that happened that second time, and I'm glad I got to see it in that light. But then the third time, when we were road tripping, of course we had a car. And driving in the cities of Europe in general, there's so many more rules to the road and parking and stuff that it was hard to keep up with at times. And I knew you're not supposed to drive into the center of the city in general, like the main square, but Krakow has this thing where it's surrounded by like a forest park, like you could walk around it, and there were cars that were parked there and like meters. So I looked at Nick and I'm like, hey, we could park here on this street, but we could get closer and like park in the forest area. And so I parked there. I pay the meter. We go exploring, and then we're like, hey, there's a castle nearby. Let's go to the castle. But first we need to put more money into the meter. We're walking by, a cop drives past us, and we laugh at it, like each other, and we're like, what if like we have a ticket or something? And as I get closer to the car, I see there's a piece of paper on the car. And I'm like, oh no. And as I get closer, especially since I could read Polish, I wish I didn't, because I feel like it would have been a lot funnier to me just walking around. I immediately read in big, bold letters, be aware there's a boot on your car. And I'm like, a boot? I run to the other side, and there's just this big yellow boot on the front wheel. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, how much is this gonna cost? Like, what am I gonna do? But luckily there was like information on there. Kudos to people that have experienced this and not understand the language, because the entire pamphlet was in Polish. So if you're reading it, you're like, who am I supposed to talk to? But I immediately called them and I'm like, hey, there's a boot on my car. And they're like, oh yeah, there's someone that's like 3 minutes away from you. We'll send them over. It's the same car that drove past us while we were walking towards the car. And the lady comes out and she's like, yeah, so who was driving the car? And I was like, I was. And of course I was speaking Polish to her. So she was assuming that like, why are you doing this? Like, you know, you're not supposed to. I'm like, I'm actually from America. She's like, okay, do you have your passport? I'm like, no, because I have my international license. Yeah. One thing I didn't know is that you should still travel with your passport when you have your international license, because the international license actually doesn't matter. But luckily I had like a printed picture of my passport, which is also an important thing to do while traveling. Always, if you don't even have your physical passport, keep a printed copy of it. And that saved me. But that general experience taught me not to take life too seriously. Like, I just laughed about it after. Yeah. She said it could cost like up to, what is it, like $1,000, like US dollars a ticket, because I first off went down a road that I'm not supposed to, but then I also parked on that road. But I was able to like squeeze my way out of it and just pay like $20 to get the boot off, which thank God. Yeah, like, just laugh about it later and learn from your mistakes. Like, it's not something that you should like take too seriously. Like, oh, I had to pay money. Like, why? Now I have this experience that I could tell to people and like laugh about it. Like, that's my main motto: is when something happens, don't take it too seriously, because you know that one day in the future you're going to be able to laugh about it. Yeah, and it gives you, of course, moments to learn from. It really just works to create those fun lore, but also ways to just learn and experience new things. And you go to countries to experience new things. That's a new thing. Now you know to never drive down those roads. Don't park on. You're not supposed to. In Krakow, ever. And it creates those kind of fun personal stories, and to continue learning more about you and hearing those stories. What are some things people might not know about you, like fun facts? I think my biggest fun fact is that I was a model. It's not something I usually share with people right off the bat. It's like they either find out by themselves, or like I mention something and they're like, what? And that still happens like this year. After 4 years of knowing my friends, they're like, you did that? So yeah. That's one of them. Another fun fact is that I bungee jumped one of the tallest commercial bungee jumps in the world in South Africa. That was an incredible experience, especially since I'm afraid of heights. But like doing it itself was cool. It was like on a bridge, and I had to zip line to the center of like the I don't know what it's called, but it's like the arch. There's like an arch, and then there's a platform over it, and then there's like the bridge. But we ziplined there, and we had numbers written on our wrists. And I just remember being like so excited and just knowing like, I'm in South Africa. This is gonna be my one opportunity to like do this, probably ever. So I might as well, even like overcoming my fear. Like I'll just do it. I have to do it, no matter how much it costs. I'm gonna put my head in the game and I'll do it. What I didn't expect, though, is as soon as we got there, the first number called would be mine, because they did it out of order, like jumbled up. So I'm like, oh, so I can't even like see other people do it first. And I'm like being strapped up. I'm like being sent to the edge, and there's not even a countdown. It's just like, this is happening. And just having to take that in, it was awesome. Like, I definitely died a little inside while going down. The loudest I've ever screamed. It was an absolutely amazing experience, that whole trip in general. But bungee jumping is like one of those things that just facing my fear of like falling in general, because that's usually what the fear of heights is. The worst part though was getting off the bridge because you had to go on like a gate. You had to walk a gate all the way back instead of zip lining. And that gate was like, you know, when you think of a gate, you see holes and stuff, and you're looking down, and you see like 10,000 feet below you, and I'm like, I can't, I can't. After bungee jumping and falling almost to my death, what it felt like to be my death, I can't do it again.
You're like shaking. And, yeah. I was gonna ask if that taught you anything, but I'm sure just like
it taught me to just how to get through a mental block, just do it. At some point, you're gonna think about it. All you have to do is get rid of that thought and just do it. Make sure you relax your body and just do it.
Which is a great testament for life in general. Like what Nick said, to take a leap of faith.
Oh, absolutely.
You took a leap of faith yourself and use that to grow. So I'm sure that's something you both loved and hated. What's one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike? One
thing I love, I'm going to say some niche things.
Okay.
One thing I love is a morning dew. I love the aesthetic of being on a field and like feeling like water in the air. And it's like the freshest air you could breathe in, what it feels like the smell of it, the look, the colors that are brought out in the morning. Or just like a foggy day. I love fog, like a fog on a night sky. It's pretty awesome. It's just my favorite thing to look at and take like pictures of and feel, you know. But one thing I hate is, you know, those like toilet seats with like plastic on them, like cushioned toilet seats. I hate those. Every time I go to someone's like bathroom and I see there's a cushion seat, I'm like, no. But a little more seriously, what I do love, what do I love on a more serious tone?
I mean, like you said, life doesn't have to be too serious. So this answer doesn't have to be too serious, but...
I definitely love spontaneity. I can't be a person that has everything planned out, like, to the T. 'Cause, like, if you don't plan it out to a T, anything could happen. And the worst thing about planning it is that if something doesn't work out, you're already like, you're down in the dumps. You're like, oh, that didn't work out. And I wish it did. But what I do usually is I plan things out like, this is what I could do. And then when the day comes, I look at that list and I'm like, I'm feeling in the mood for this. And then that trip could take me somewhere else, or whatever I do there can lead me to something else. And I take that like full force. Whatever happens, happens. That's like another main motto that I have. Whatever happens, happens. Because like you can't control life. And so spontaneity is like one of my favorite things ever. That it's something that you could do and live with.
Yeah, you can't control life, but you can control how you react to life. And you can control little things like that. Like, of course, everything needs balance, but the ability to kind of go with the flow and kind of make your own decisions while having something regimented, like a schedule. I think that keeps life fresh. It keeps life fun, and sometimes you need to bungee jump 10,000 feet or get that boot off your car if need be. So kind of building on all of these things, I'd like to ask you, what are some of your hopes and dreams personally or professionally?
Like how I've been saying, I just want to live my life. I kind of don't like to think on future goals, and I know that's not the best thing to say. Like, it's always good to have a goal. But I just kind of take life day by day, just figuring it out as it's coming towards me. Like, school's ending now. What am I gonna do after? And obviously it's something I've been thinking about since freshman year, but I haven't really thought about it too in depth until now I'm here, and I'm trying to force myself into like the uncomfortable of not knowing. And that's an important thing to me. What I do want to do professionally is somewhere within the art department. I want to work maybe as a production design or set design, production design. There's also art design. I have always wanted to do props because I just feel like it's so fun. I'm a very crafty person, and I know prop people prop masters, they like make things to look real, and that would feel so awesome for me. But yeah, it doesn't matter to me which actual role I go into, as long as it's in the art department, I'll be happy, I feel.
And naturally, like the graduating, not knowing what's next, kind of like that balance thing. It's fun, but it's also worrying. But I know you, Z, you'll find your way. and of course, like all these cool hands-on crafty things in the film. Films always need it. Films are art.
Yeah.
And that just only makes what's on the screen better. And I'm curious, speaking of what's on the screen, what are some of your favorite movies?
My favorite guilty pleasure movie is definitely the Hannah Montana movie. I recently rewatched that, and I forgot that I watched it like 10 times growing up when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
did you relate?
Oh, absolutely.
Having a double life, the best of both worlds?
That's actually, I think that's why I stayed in it, because Hannah Montana and that whole show and the movie, it was such an inspiration to me, and I'm like, I want to be like Miley Cyrus. So when I did start modeling and I made that connection, I'm like, this is awesome. This is like, I could live this way. But yeah, there's so many things I'm understanding from the movie now also. Like, I'm understanding more about myself rewatching that and the show as well. It's definitely bittersweet, and I'm just like, this is like, I've lived the life. I've lived a bit of what she lived, and it's like, I understand now the emotions within the show that they were trying to portray, and I'm like, this is exactly how I felt, and it's very relatable for me. And I think that's also a reason why I love it so much, because it's just like the main thing about movies is relatability. You have to relate to a movie in order to understand it, and that's an important thing to also, when you're making movies, how relatable is it to other people? So the Hannah Montana movie is definitely one of my guilty pleasures. A recent one that I watched in theaters was Eternity. That one was just hilarious. I loved that movie itself. What is it? Elizabeth Olsen?
Yeah.
She's amazing. She's an amazing actress. And the humor in it is just, it's so good.
Yeah, they say 6'7" so many times.
I know.
It's like a motif in the movie.
67 years they were together.
And then 6 to 7 months.
Yeah. It's such a feel-good movie. I cried so many times during it. And I also laughed so many times. And feeling it and feeling the audience around me react to the movie as well as me. I'm just like, this is an amazing feeling. And then getting out of that movie, I'm like, 5 star. Absolutely best movie of the year. And then like basic like film movie I like is Interstellar. Like I've watched it at least 5 times, and I never really rewatch movies unless I really love them. And yeah, I also watched it on 70 millimeter in Lincoln. And we were like so close to the screen, and it was like basically, you know that meme of Willem Dafoe in the movie about Van Gogh? He's just like, that's how it felt. But like you see the wave coming, and you're like, you feel it.
Yeah.
And I also watched it when I was in an airplane, and I think that was the second time I watched it. And that was also a crazy experience, because you're feeling the turbulence. It feels like you're in like a 4D seat at that moment. And I'm like, if you ever get the chance to watch Interstellar on a plane, do it. It's an absolute amazing feeling.
And you mentioned giving 5 stars. You do have, you and Nick as well, very brilliant letterbox reviews. I'm always a fan. I love how you write it in like different like paragraphs.
Because there's so many thoughts that I have throughout the movie that I have to separate it, but I want to say every little thing.
There is an art to it. To letterbox. So I've always appreciated your reviews, just like I appreciated this episode of the Zicast. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm curious if you have any motivational words or plugs or anything you want to leave the audience with.
I'm gonna go into the failing category as well. If you ever find out that you have 93 fails until you succeed, every time you fail, you're gonna be super excited to fail. So just take failure as another step closer to succeeding, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, take failure as experience.
Yeah.
Or just take out failure altogether, just consider it.
Yeah, don't let it run you down deeper into the ground. Just take it like with a grain of salt. Hey, it happened, but now I'm closer to actually being better, or understanding something new, or living my life in the way I want it to.
Living your life, going with the flow like we talked about. is very much speaks to you and what you've been able to do. And it's been so great getting to know you, Z, getting to go to Cannes with you. Always appreciate spending time with you and seeing your great work. So thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. As always, this is Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for listening.